mean, God knows what's going to be going on these last 2 days. I mean, but I mean, what is so lovely, you made me so welcome. You're all so nice, and you're all Peter Pans. You'll never grow up, and I think that's the most important thing in life. People say to me, like, Brian, because 50% of my life these days is, half of it is acting, and 50% exploration. And of course, I've been ever 3 times, and the North and South Poles, the oldest man to get there, and I'm 75. I've just finished getting to the North Pole again, and I have just finished. I do about 10 miles running a day and bench press up to 350 pounds. And I'm getting sick of this bloody old bollocks. It's not how old you are, it's how you are old. I think 40 is very young. I think middle age is between 55 and 65. But it's not how old you are, it's how you are old. Go for it! I always say, the great... I said, Brian, isn't it dangerous going to Mount Everest? Isn't it dangerous going to Aconcagua? Isn't it dangerous going to all those mountains of Mongolia, etc.? I say to them, and it's in your faces, that the greatest danger in life is not taking the adventure. You gotta go. You're gonna say something. Shut your face! I'm sick of being interrupted.
I don't even know why they've got an interview.
I must say, I did the Tarzan film 3 or 4 years ago, the animated Tarzan film, and I'm Clayton in it, the villain. I was on it for about 2 years, and Disney was there and all of them. And finally we finished the film, and I'm leaving. And the guy who plays the villain in Ghost, the film, was the voice of Tarzan. He has that strange voice. Oh, a rather strange voice, which is rather good for Tarzan, rather innocent. And he's the man who's the villain in Ghost. Anyway, I was leaving. They said, well done, Brian, said Disney. Brian, you've done a great job. Your car's outside, you're going to the airport. And then I heard the Tarzan doing the yodel. And he was going, and he couldn't do the bloody yodel. And the Americans are very worried. I said, well, look. I said, when I was a kid, we went to the Johnny Leesborough films. And we all did the yodel as little boys. No, Brian, this is going to be a real problem for us. I said, no. His car, they got solicitors down, and I had a bloody contract for the yodel. And it's absolutely bloody marvellous, I'm going to let you talk in a second. I don't see many actors because I tend to be with explorers a lot. And next week, I'm going to be with Walking with the Wounded at BAFTA, and I've been narrating a film about them. And I'm going to lead their expedition to Everest this spring. I'm not going with them because it's their expedition, but I'm narrating it, advising it, and being their unofficial leader with Prince Harry. These are the guys with no legs and no arms who went to the North Pole. Wonderful guys. So I'm going to give them a lecture about the south side of Everest and how to get up it. So, adventure. 50% of my life has become adventure. And the only actor I really meet, my oldest friend is Patrick Stewart, Jean-Luc Picard's Star Trek. Well, as I said to him a short while ago, or when he met me in New York when there was a premiere and he embraced me. He always cries, Patrick, when he sees me. I've since he was 9 years of age and I was 11. You know, he's going bald then. You're Brian, you're going to die. You're going to these mountains, you're going to die. No, I'm not your daft son. He and I are going to do a show together, two Yorkshire boys, with Sonny Lumiere lights and lots of his space stuff and a lot of my space stuff and all that. We're going to do a big show together. So anyway, I've always known Patrick. We were terribly close, beyond brothers. And but the actor, I don't meet many, and it's Ken Branagh. I've done 5 of his films with him. I've known him for 25 years. We have a father-son relationship, and I'm the son. And he said to me, you know, you're not scared of anything. Well, he said, should I do this film? Should I direct 4? Should I do this? What are you bloody talking about? I'm going to the bloody South Pole. I'm going to solo it. What are you doing? Bollocks. Get on with it. He said, you're not scared of anything. And of course, there was a day. Suddenly, I'll never get stars in their eyes, said Brian. Would I for charity, for about 100,000 quid for charity, do Pavarotti? I said, Christ almighty, no. So Branagh said, scared are you? I said, no. When I was in Cats, the musical, because there's no end to my talent, as you know. I've done so many things. These are things that Patrick Stewart couldn't remotely bloody do, by the way. He can't sing and dance like me. I was a marvellous cat. Right shit. But anyway, so therefore, I said, no. When I was in Cats, that Carreras and Di Stefano and all the other tenors said, we call Pavarotti Maestro. I said, do you? And Domingo said, yes, we call him Maestro. Why? Because his voice is the best. It is superior. I have a lot of fruit in my voice, Brian. Carreras is the same. But he's his clarity and brilliance. I said, he's acknowledged as the greatest singer of all time. That's why I turned it down. I can't do him honor. They offered it 5 more times, and I accepted. And so I got a lot of money for the Born Free Foundation and for the RSPCA and things like animals and all this, that and the other. And when I came through the mist as Pavarotti, you could see the audience, like your good selves, cheered and cheered and cheered, and looked at me cheering. And you could see, by God, the makeup was sensational. I looked up on a screen, and there was this big screen. I thought, it's Pavarotti, he's here. And then I moved, and it moved. And I realized it was me. I thought, God, I looked so wonderful. And the audience cheered, and then they died. And they looked at me, and they thought, well, he looks like him. He'll never sound like him. I haven't got a piano, so I may miss it, totally. But the shock in their faces. Try to throw to your feet.
I'm going to take this chance while I can, just to say something.
I'm not going to bother with questions. I'm just going to suggest topics. I think everyone would love to hear you talking about Flash Gordon.
Yes, yes.
Engage.
You can ask me about Flash Gordon. I have to say, you know, of course I saw as a child in Goldthorpe where I lived, half Everton, Doncaster and Barnsley. My dad was, yes, that's good to know you're there. And I was the son of a coal miner. Patrick Stewart was the son of a milkman. And he was in the next village. And my dad was a coal hewer, did the hardest work of the coal mines, 17 tons a day, etc. And it was marvellous. We had wooden radios, we had, Journey into Space, Paul Temple, Dick Barton's Special Agent. And in the cinemas, marvellous films, like Jungle Book and all that. So we had these two cinemas. And in the Empire Picture House, we had Flash Gordon. And Buster Crabbe was absolutely amazing as Flash Gordon. I mean, and the scripts were absolutely marvellous. To think, they were so prophetic. There was one episode where you had annihilotons walking bombs. Men who were bombs, precursors of terrorism. And Flash had to face the walking bombs. The clay men. Their dialogue was done, by the way, by reversing the language and making it go backwards. So that's brilliant. The clay men were marvellous. The sets, the rockets, Litz's music. And he, as Flash, he was a gold medal Olympic swimmer. He was a great athlete. And he wept as Flash. And he ached with pain when he was in trouble. You'd notice him and you felt for him very deeply. And we'd come racing out of it every there's half an hour a week. Could Flash escape? And we'd rush down the embankments where there was the Flying Scotsman and the Mallard. I mean, these were trains, not like the bloody electrical buses. The Mallard, I looked in front of it, its Bugatti front, and it won the world speed record coming through the mist. And you became legless. It was wonderful. You can see to the York Museum, this great Mallard. And we'd be watching Flash Gordon, we'd run down the embankment, and I'd jump over the bushes down the embankment, and I always played Voltan. And I never dreamt that one day I'd actually play it. When they decided to make the film, Dino Laurentiis, I tried to persuade him to have Buster Crabbe in it, because he was still alive, 87, silver hair, great muscular body, ran gymnasiums all over America, and looked still the same. I'd have loved to have seen him escort Flash Gordon in the film to the aeroplane at the beginning as his father. But he wouldn't wear it, he wanted to cut away from the past. By the way, the man who was filling the petrol in the aeroplane, who is it? Robbie Coltrane! Brilliant. And so it was. So when I went to be interviewed, I went to the studios at Elstree, and there were paintings of Voltan everywhere. And he was like looking at me from the comic. I said, "It's me! You rotten buggers, you've cast me!" It's not quite right, but anyway, of course they did. I've never known such happiness. I raced to the set. It was very interesting that Ming the Merciless, the great Swedish actor from all those Ingmar Bergman films, just before he entered, because he's wonderful as Ming, bright as I'm bored, what plaything. And this wonderful actor said to me, Brian, I'm going on soon, I'm worried. I don't know how to play me. I said, well, I'd seen you in the Quilla Memorandum, interrogating as a German spy, interrogator, and you cracked your fingers. You have got wonderful hands. And I said, Ming is erotic. And he's a wizard. He's always stealing the women up and grabbing the women. He's very sexy. Madam, calm yourself. Terrible. Sexy. Christ. I couldn't keep my eyes off Ornella Muti. But anyway. I said, and he's a magician with his hands. So when you watch the film, notice, so it's all down to me, telling him to using his hands. Thank you, Brian, thank you. And of course, he uses his hands quite marvellously. As I said, there's no end to my talents. Now, I raced there, and in the opening scenes with Ming the Merciless, I was in ecstasy. But the poor dwarfs, one of them was R2-D2, the one I hit on the head. R2-D2's inside that. And all the dwarfs were there, and they were in terrible pain in their costumes, you know. And so I was teased them terribly and insulted them all the time. And the second assistant would always announce, right, this was in Ming's palace at the beginning. Lordy, we're going to do a close-up of Brian. Let's have silence. He is without doubt the greatest actor who's ever lived. And of course I said, yes, of course I am. Maybe in the whole universe. We're coming in close on your face, Brian. Is there anything you need? Keep those bloody dwarfs out of my eye line! Which we actually watched Ming the Merciless die. Shut your face! Have I got news for you? I'll be back on it again. I'll scare the shit out of them again. Anyway, where was I? What was the message? Oh, well, yes, thank you. It's about my sex life. I'm not far too long. I mean, to all the ladies out there, I know a lot of tricks. And I'm not...
Tell us a couple of tricks, Brian.
I'll bring out a sex book. I have to say, talking about sex in Flash Gordon, in the opening main scenes, the Ardentian women were all white, remember? And one of the ladies, forgive the young people present, she had tits on her like a rhinoceros.
I think before this gets too pornographic, maybe we should...
No, shut your face. And her name was Magda, you know. And I was in this dark makeup and wings. It took half an hour to put the wings on, you know. But Timothy Dalton did not fancy this bird. And of course, he looked like Errol Flynn. I mean, he was James Bond, very handsome as Prince... was Baron. He said, oh, she's lovely. God, she's gorgeous. Anyway, after a while, I noticed some of the Ardentian women moving towards us after about 6 days of filming. And they came towards me in a group and said, Mr. Blessed, their voice like that. Mr. Blessed. Magda thinks you're wonderful. She said, she thinks you're lovely. And she's beautiful, Magda. This was the one with the breath. She thinks you're lovely. She said she could see you as a caveman. And I thought, well, what do I bloody do? I mean, I said, I can't, love. It's impossible. I said, I'm covering all my dark makeup. I said, it'd take me 2 hours to get my wings off. But she said she could see you. She could see you as a caveman. I've never understood to this day. What should I have done? Hit her with a club. And dragged her across the floor. Sorry. Not a particularly interesting story, but it shows what I have to say that in the film there is a sequence which is the attack of the rocket ship Ajax, right? And my men, it's very hard. You see, in all the science fiction films, you get, in Superman, one man flying. or maybe 2 or 3 in the sequels after that. But in Flash Gordon, we had 2,500 people flying. And it's very hard to get their wings together and have them come down. And there was a day in which it was the attack of the Hawkman, you know, Squadron 14, dive! That one. Impetuous boy! All that. Sorry about your eardrums, darling, you'll get used to it. So we were all up there waiting, 2,500 of us, and it took about 7 days to get the rocket ready, to get the dynamite ready, to get the special effects ready. And of course, I, had a great bazooka, which was made of cardboard. You know, is that my... Yeah. Hello again, Miss Robert. It's marvelous what you can do with my hands. Anyway, I don't really need one. So there we are. And we stood by, we were all flying, and it's because my bazooka's made of cardboard. They're made of bloody cardboard. And so they said, right, Brian, dynamite ready, special effects ready, Hawkman ready, action! And I flew in. Follow me, flag! Take that! Take that! Take that! Take that! Follow me, Flash! He said, cut, cut, cut! Brian, we put in the special effects. I have never felt such a tit in all my life. You can't fire, can you? Freeze! Follow me, Flash! You've got to make a noise. I mean, Flash Gordon had a little gun. He used to go, ba-dang, 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 ba-dang. Cut. You're going to be asking questions.
You're not going to listen to a word I say, so maybe there might be a couple of people in the audience who might listen to you. Have you got any questions out here? We've got a mic. Jordan's got a mic. Any hands up? There's one right here.
Please, yes.
Just up. So, when's the knighthood coming?
When is what coming?
The knighthood. Saw Brian, bless it.
Knighthood. I have to say that I'm bitter. And Patrick's got a knighthood, and when I do this show with him on the final night, he will meet an unfortunate death. Now, I am not jealous. I'm not. No. You know this Gordon's alive. Wherever I go, this is answering your question. Wherever I go, I do voiceovers along this, that, and the other in London. And so taxis stop and say, see Gordon's alive, Brian, on my phone. And up in the scaffolding they're doing for the Olympics, see Gordon's alive, Brian, see Gordon's alive to my wife. That's why I say it everywhere. At Christmas I did the Christmas show at Buckingham Palace. The Queen I call her Knuckles, because she always hits me with her knuckles when I say, you're far too old to be going up Mount Everest. I'm going to bring out a royal edict and order you not to go up. But you wouldn't obey me, would you? I said, no. You're just like my mummy, she was stubborn. I said, well, don't talk to me about safety, because every time I see you, you're riding a horse without a helmet. Oh, you don't quite. Please. I'm the Queen. Have some respect. Now, when I was there at Christmas, she said, you know, Mr. Blessed, we watch Flash Gordon all the time, me and the grandchildren. It's our favourite movie. I've got the children here. Do you mind saying Gordon's alive? So I said, Gordon's alive! Thank you so much. So, anyway. I tease the knights I would miss teasing him. Patrick, I destroy him. Dave Jacobi, I absolutely, who is an adorable creature, because when I draw this together, you know, I just say, you know, I can't call you sir. I'm kicking him up the arse, which he quite enjoys. I chase him around. But there is one renowned knight in our realm who I give hell to, and I would miss that. It's Ben Kingsley. Whose 3 wives have left him, and if he's on a film, you've got to sew into his costume, Sir Ben. Now, when he sees me on odd occasions at the airport, he is terrified and desperately tries to get out of the airport lounge. And I become a Yorkshire kind of thug. Look, where's Ben Kingsley? Not Sir Ben. How are you, Ben? Are you still acting? Oh, bloody acting, you daft bugger. Cross legs the kids. And he goes, effing this and effing that, you daft sod. Of course I am. I've got an Oscar. I didn't know. I thought you'd given up acting. Are you a knight? It's a knight! Well done, Ben! Get me out of here, for Christ's sake, get me out! Ben Kingsley, I'm the scourge of Ben Kingsley.
The Queen said, you know, I saw you in Have I Got News For You? And I must say, we watched it 7 times a day. Funny, the 30-minute version's wonderful, but the 40-minute version, I've never heard F.U.C.K. said so many times. Of course, she said it's an Anglo-Saxon word. It means spreading of seed. Now,
Anyway,
she said, have we given you anything at all? I said, no. Well, then,
I said, if you're going to give me some, make me into a baron. If they make me a baron, I can piss on all the knights.
So we've got one more question, so let's have this in hand.
Thank you, love you, can I give you a kiss?
Let me, old son. You got a question over there?
Hi, Ron. You directed King Lear. Is there another film or story you'd like to direct in the future?
Yes, let me see. Well, I directed King Lear, and we had a very tiny budget, and we filmed it all in a garage and a barn and some fields, didn't we? And now it's the big bestseller and DVD of King Lear, and it's on sale in the pound shop, isn't it? You can see them going along, oh, it's Brian, he's got a lovely voice. Oh, Brian, I'll have a quid on Brian, and I'll buy a couple of plugs, and I'll buy a brush. I'll have two of Brian, and I can stick it on the shelf and all the books. And it's sold 376,000 in 3 weeks. The whole of Hollywood can't believe it. So now Tesco's and all the others have seen this in the pound shop. I'm known as the King Pound, you know. And so they're going to give me all this money to make some more films. And I know it sounds silly, but they've never really properly made the right film of the War of the Worlds. I get tired. I know a lot of our special effects people, all kinds of people. It is a British story. It's full of penny It's full of penny farthings. It was an age of invention. The Martians didn't come to conquer the Earth in the War of the Worlds. They sent an auxiliary force to Britain to see if they could beat the British Army. Because at the time, Britain ruled the world with our ironclad warships and 2.5 million kind of army and infantry and Gatling guns. and that if they can beat the British Army in Britain, then they will take on the world. It's an auxiliary expedition the Martians send, and it's full of inventions. W.G. Grace playing cricket at Lord's, steam trains coming into Woking and so forth. So the whole thing is a kind of rather friendly English story, and this horrific happening is taking place. And I just think it could be done wonderfully well and very, very British. You know, I am absolutely, it's awesome that the place is packed with so many people for a guy like me. I think ultimately, I am Brian. In my life, I've arrived at being Brian, and I like being myself. I am incredibly touched that you're all here. And therefore I can tell you that my biggest love in life is space. And I'll make this very short. And the fact that I'm at the moment working with Skylon in Abingdon. This is 7 space planes for the moon. You can get it on your internet, the Skylon, and me narrating it. With Britain's best scientists. We had Blue Streak, Black Arrow, and Black Knight at the end of the 50s, early 60s. Ariadne, the European rocket, is Blue Streak. We have such marvelous scientists, young scientists, who are out of work. These days, I talk to Pillinger, and I talk to Hawking, and I talk to all kinds of scientists. My life has taken this on. I am observing Beagle 3 that's being built, and all kinds. I feel there are 700 space agencies, and we don't have one. We let the world. Had we pursued in late 1950, early 60, Blue Streak, Black Arrow, and Black Knight, Pillinger says we're in advance of Werner von Braun. Britain would have been on Mars. Now, I know about the economic situation, but I feel we need to get people like you into space. The Space Centre in Leicester, kids this age, down there in thousands at the moment, want to go to Mars. I wanted to go to Mars when I was 6, 7 years of age, and they've been sitting on their arses. And I feel, you know, that the Earth, the Gaia principle of the Earth, that it is Mother Earth, and she has not yet bred her children, and that we need to go out, not implode. New forms of art, new forms of theatre, on the moon and Mars, etc. Biospheres. We can take our creatures out there, our Lepidoptera out there. We need to get out. We are the children of stardust. And we don't just belong here. We need to get out there. I feel this, that take philosophers and painters and new forms of Olympics, as I said, get out there. We've got to start sailing. So I meet Zubrin, who is doing Mars Direct, and he is now making a spaceship that can travel at half the speed of light. He's almost finished it. I meet Golenbeck and all these wonderful people. And because they were astonished that I went to Everest with 28,500 feet without oxygen at my age, they examined me from my lungs with twice the normal size. My blood was A and B group and other peculiarities. And NASA want to put me into space. I haven't announced this officially, but this is as good a place as any with such marvellous people like you. But I have just completed 800 hours in Baikonur, the Moscow Space Center with Putin watching. I have now become a fully trained cosmonaut. now first reserve for the International Space Station. And I'm going to go there late this year or early next spring. And I'm going to champion and be a spokesman for the whole program. And I feel, you know, I think we're going to make it as mankind. I think we're going to succeed. I mean, Christ, I've been president of the national parks for 7 years, and Ben Fogels took over, and now I'm vice president. I'm president of the Yorkshire Wildlife. You know, it is a huge success story, Britain. Our parks are the creme de la creme. They're green, wonderful. We've brought in hundreds of butterfly farms, all kinds of things. Britain has second to none the best national parks in the world. They're a big success. We don't shout about it enough. We don't bang the drum about this. We're a very wonderful nation who's achieved so much. And therefore, I'm going to kind of inspire all this and be the front runner of the space race to get out there and to grow and grow and grow and let the Earth slightly recover and be rustic. And I feel that we have an immense future. What I want to say to you quite simply is, there is no one like you. Nature doesn't cheat. We've all got something that nobody else has. You're given something rare in your dreams and what you are. Now you've got to go and fulfill it. You go and do it, because there's no one like you. And don't let the bastards grind you down.
Ladies and gentlemen, the easiest interview of my life, Brian Blessed.
I'm so sorry about this. It really was a slight dampener. I live my life according to my beliefs. I've got over 3,500 animals. They're all rescued. My wife and I employ about 5 or 6 people to look after them. I'm also training tomorrow morning at 5 o'clock in the morning at Farnham on the centrifuge. And I've got to get back because the police tell me that as I get down the motorway halfway down, we're going to be hit by terrible storms. And if I don't get back, I can't complete the centrifuge training with some of the Americans and Russians. And I've got to look after all these animals and supervise it. So I have to leave about between 4:30 and 5, if you forgive me. I'd love to stay longer, but I have got to go. I set up at 4 or 5 in the morning on the centrifuge, and I've got to get to these animals. And there's a concern that the weather conditions are going to be appalling halfway down the motorway. That drifts will be coming in and snow. So forgive me if I leave between 4:30 and 5. Please forgive me.